Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome to episode 4 of Zesty Eats. So it's finally Friday, the weekend is here, which means what? Parties, you're hosting a party, you're going to a party, you need a simple side dish. Well, I'm going to show you how to make a fun appetizer, which is really good. It's a spinach dip, it's a creamy spinach dip, and really cheesy. What you're going to need for that spin dip is going to need Philadelphia cream cheese, of course. This is the base of most dips. And I do 2 packages. You're going to need half a cup of sour cream, half a cup of mayonnaise, and then you guys want to get 2 different types of cheeses in this dip. The first one's going to be an Italian style cheese that we've been using in past episodes, or the past episode. So you guys should still have some of this if you guys went out to get it. And then it's some mozzarella cheese. That's going to top the top of our dip and make it nice and baked on top. It's going to look really good. You're going to need some baby spinach. I do baby spinach because they're smaller pieces. Of course, you can do regular spinach if you can't find baby spinach. You're going to have to chop that up, and I'll show you guys how to do that in a little bit. You're going to need 2 cloves of garlic, and then something to dip it out with. So I'm doing tortilla chips. We're going to go and get our pan nice and hot with some EVOO, some extra virgin olive oil. I'm using a garlic olive oil flavor along with a little bit of some lemon flavor, olive oil. You can look for different types of olive oils. They're in the grocery section or the oil section of the grocery store. So they don't just have just plain olive oil. They have different types. They also have dipping olive oils. They have cooking olive oils. So just make sure you guys are getting the right one for these dishes. All right, cool. So we have the olive oil in there. What I'm going to go and do now is I'm going to throw in garlic. So I minced some garlic up. Mince, remember, mincing is little pieces of garlic. If you guys chopped it, it's just a rough chop. It's kind of bigger pieces. So this one, we're using the smaller pieces, just so it can flavor our spinach. I hate when I get spinach and you can tell that it was either frozen or there was just no flavor added. So just flavor it up. So I'm flavoring it up again with garlic, and I just threw in some crushed red peppers. Alright, so just use some crushed red peppers. Get that going. Remember, we don't want to burn that garlic. I just put it in there for about 30 seconds to a minute. Then I go ahead and add in the spinach. This is actually a pretty small bag. Normally I put in a lot more, but they didn't have a huge bag at the grocery store today. So you can add more or just keep it like this. But add the whole bag, guys, because it's going to go down to nothing. Really, this is going to wilt down and become like a little mound of just spinach. Alright, cool. So we have the garlic flavor on the bottom. I'm kind of just tossing it around here. Go ahead and add a little bit of some salt. Again, season up your spinach. Super important. It enhances the flavor inside of the dip itself. It adds a little bit more to it. Some freshly ground black pepper. And just let it wilt. It's going to take maybe about 5 minutes just to wilt down. And you'll know it's ready because it's going to go down to nothing. Alright, so now you can kind of see that it's wilted down to pretty much nothing. We still have these stems here. And I do keep the stems. Because I'll still chop it even though it's baby spinach. All right, it's time to make the main dip itself, and I use a KitchenAid for this to mix it all up. You guys can use a hand blender. You guys can use your hands with a whisk or with a spoon, kind of mix up the ingredients, but it's gonna have to do a lot of mixing out. One tip is leave your cream cheese out. Leave it out for about 30 minutes. Don't, from the fridge. Just leave it. Try to get it to room temperature. So it's a lot easier to whip, especially if you're doing it by hand. You're gonna have to make sure that you have it out for maybe an hour so it can get to room temperature and it's softer and a lot easier to work with. Cool, so then we're putting in both of our cream cheese inside of here. Sweet. And what I'm gonna go ahead and do is just get that whipped up real fast, get it started a little. So it's gonna get into a mound. Right now I had it out for about 30 minutes. I would probably have gone maybe another hour. But once I put in the mayonnaise and the sour cream, it's going to mix up real nicely. So it's all stuck onto our attachment. That's totally okay. Next, I'm going to go ahead and put in about half a cup sour cream. Okay, so then just... Alright, and then I'm going to go ahead and put in about half a cup of some mayonnaise. Taste it. So you can actually start off with maybe 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise. Taste it, maybe put in another tablespoon. It's really by taste, because sometimes you really can taste the mayonnaise or the sour cream, and it does sometimes overpower that cream cheese, and you don't want that to happen, but some people like it, so by all means go for it. So we put those 2 ingredients in, so now we're going to go ahead and just start whipping it. I go at a little bit higher rate on the speed. So right now I have the speed on your KitchenAid. If you have KitchenAid, I have it at a 4. So go ahead and just let it whip up. I'm going to go ahead and put in a little bit of sea salt. Need to flavor it up. A little bit of black pepper. Perfect. And then, y'all, I'm going to put in a little bit of some olive oil. I do maybe about a teaspoon of olive oil. I'm going to go ahead and throw in that Italian style cheese. You guys can put about, I would say about half a cup to a cup. I'm doing about a cup. I like mine really cheesy. If you don't like it cheesy or that cheesy, you want to go ahead and use less. But I do about a cup of it. Just toss it right in there. Alright guys, so it's time to add in our spinach. So I did chop up the spinach. I did kind of squeeze out the juices that were in there. You're going to have juices left from the spinach. So you want to make sure that you get that squeezed out. So that way you don't have extra liquid inside of the dip. So make sure you get it squeezed. I normally use a bunch of paper towels. You can use a cheesecloth. That would be perfect to squeeze out most of the juices from here. You're not going to get all of it unless you're using a cheesecloth. Because you can still see, I mean, there's still some juices in there. So you want to try to get rid of all of that. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is turn on the dip and then start piece by piece throwing in the spinach. Cool. And go ahead and just let that get mixed up. And like I said, if you do a lot more spinach like normally I do, you're going to really see that spinach pop. Sweet. Look at that. I have a cake pan, and then I have a really nice glass oven-proof pan. But I'm going to go ahead and use my cake pan. But on top of that, I'm also going to use this awesome, cool little dish that I got at IKEA. I like to use this one if it's already, you know, I have guests coming over and it's like 2 of us, 3 of us, just so it can be really, really nicely presented in this really small skillet. So I'm going to go ahead and just put some in this one. So lay it out. I went ahead and brushed it with a little bit of Pam spray just in the bottom so it doesn't stick. Alright, so we went ahead, put it in this really small, beautiful skillet. And then we have our mozzarella cheese that we had from earlier that I told y'all we're going to need that second cheese. And I like to put it on top. Cool, so that one's set and ready to go into the oven. Preheat your oven at 400 degrees. So you guys can go 400, 425. Because what we're going to do is we're going to put it in the oven for about 15 minutes so the cheese can melt. And then we're going to put it on a, we're going to turn on our broiler. So you want to put the broiler on after that, and we're going to put that at a kind of a high rate with this cheese. It's going to kind of burn that cheese up. We're going to put it in there for about 3 minutes. And when you guys get to the broiler part of it, make sure you're keeping an eye on it because it will burn on you. Trust me, I've had that mistake. The good part is it's just the top and you can kind of peel that off if that were to happen. But you still get that kind of burnt taste, and that's not what we want. You know, we want a really nice presentation, and it's going to be really nice and crusty. So you're going to be able to like pop it, and then the cream's going to ooze out. It's so amazing. All right, so I have my oven ready. I'm going to go and put it inside the oven and let those cook down before I put it on the broiler. All right, guys, so our spin dip went into the oven.
at 400 degrees. It was in there for about 15 minutes, and then I went ahead and turned on the broiler. I put it on a high level. Mine was at a 500. I went and left it in there for about 3 to 5 minutes. And once it starts getting nice and dark on the top, then it's pretty much ready. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Amazing, right? So again, I did 2 pans. I did one in a cake baking dish for a party. So I can take this one to a party. And then this one here, personally here at home.
All right, guys, so it's all done. I mean, look at that. Isn't that amazing? Like, it is beautiful, a beautiful crusted top. Look at how cheesy this crust is. It gets nice and hard. So it's like really fun stuff to eat is the top part of it. Look at that. Nice, warm, delicious, and cheesy. It's really good, guys. Again, a great side dish, a great appetizer. It's also great on chicken. You have the chicken there, you have some mashed potatoes. It is delicious, guys. You need to try it. Comment below, let me know what you guys thought about the recipe if you guys tried it out. And enjoy.